All right, it's the preview show. We're previewing Liverpool v Barcelona in the second leg of the semi-final of the Champions League. I've got all the Pauls with me today, Paul Hogan and Paul Johnson, having a chat about this game. Not going to lie to you, I haven't done my usual prep that I do for a preview show, mainly because I was singing and dancing about Divock Origi in Liverpool till about 3:30 in the morning. But what we do know is that Liverpool are 3-0 down. What we do know is that Barcelona played last night, completely changed the whole team and got beat by Celta Vigo. Aspas scored, by the way. And Dembele got injured, which was an actual blow for them. But that aside, you were out in Barcelona as well. You saw what happened. I still can't believe that it's 3-0 because Liverpool played so well. But it is 3-0. So, what do Liverpool do? How do they approach this game? What are we wanting from this game now?
Well, I think the first thing is they can take hope from it, can't they? I mean, we were talking before and I was saying that I could have easily been 3-0 the other way, and Barcelona would have been disappointed, but it was one of them games. So I think the first thing is we know we can get at them. We know that they're a team that have weaknesses or we have strengths that can counteract there, whatever way you want to put it. But I just think it's about the pace of the start, and obviously not conceding that goal is going to be huge. I think we can see the goal that makes it obviously really difficult. But I think it's just about getting at them. Getting at them. They didn't look happy. They very much changed the way they played to what they would normally do. The same as what City did to us in January, which again, massive respect to Liverpool the way they did it. So. I don't think they've got all the answers. They must be sitting thinking, what do we do here? Because it's not. We've been in that position before. Yeah. And it's a weird position to be in.
Yeah. And we did rattle them. We rattled them in their own backyard, and it was interesting that their manager comes out in the post-match press conference after that, and the first thing he talks about is what happened to them when they played Roma a year or so ago, where they win the first leg 4-1, they lose the second leg 3-0 and go out. Yeah. So these things have happened before. Yeah, Liverpool have turned mad situations around before, as we know in this competition. Do you think, beyond the sort of hope that you always have because you support Liverpool and you love Liverpool, do you genuinely think we've got a chance of progressing to the final?
Definitely, because it's like you just said, Paul, you missed some cracking points there. You've got to try and, it's head and heart, isn't it? And obviously as Liverpool fans, our heart says we can do it, of course you can. But then if you think, right, okay, I don't know how they're going to approach the game. I think they'll have a fast start. If we can get out and score early, I think the crowd will be up for it anyway. If we can get an early goal, it's great. If you just try and break the game down, obviously trying to stop them scoring is huge. But if you break it down and say, okay, let's be 1-up at half time. That means Liverpool against this Barcelona team, can we score 2 in the second half? Of course we can. Can we be 2-0 at half time against these? Of course we can. I think that's where then your head and heart comes in. If you look at it and you're breaking it down, I think because of the positive performance in the Nou Camp, where we literally, could have easily been, as you say, on the end of a great victory. There's lots of positives there, lots of things you can cling your, you can throw your hat on and say we can come back here, not just from your heart. Your head says, obviously depending on players, and Bobby's a blow. We know that we didn't have him out there, and we maybe thought that he'd be back for this one, and hopefully Mo's okay after his knock yesterday, which it looks like he should be. But I think a fast start. I think even I say break it down, just keep it tight. Be 1-up, 2-up would be great at half time. And then you've got to, and I think there's a potential. There is a potential. You mentioned obviously great European comebacks, and okay, the 3 goals in Istanbul in 6 minutes. I think there's a potential to do that against these. I really do. I think they're going to be defined. The dark heart of European football, I think, will be, see they'll be going down a little touch. But I just think if you get a little bit of rub of the green here and there, like they did their second goal, for being a cracking tackle, and it ends up falling straight to their lad, and they get that little bit of rub of green. If you can get that on a night as well, then all things I think we can do it.
Because the other thing about in the Nou Camp was that lots of their defending was last ditch as well. You see the keeper make a couple of good saves. There's a couple of finishes as well from Liverpool's side, which obviously should have done better with. Still don't know how Mo didn't score. Milner, it's one straight at the keeper as well. If things go right, and I think this is the thing, it has to be pretty much perfect, doesn't it, from Liverpool? We need that fast start, we need that early goal. If it's the other way round, it's going to be pretty deflating because all of a sudden Liverpool need 5. So it is all about that. But from our perspective as fans, it's still the semi-final of a European Cup. It's still Barcelona coming to town with Messi and everything else. even though we're 3-0 down, you imagine it's still going to be rocking in the ground.
Yeah, and we're as a fan base, I think we're very focused with momentum as well, aren't we? You know, when momentum hits us, you know, look at the Dortmund game a few years ago, and it just goes, doesn't it? It snowballs, and you get the impression that could happen tomorrow night, and I think Tuesday night, sorry. And I think this team has got that in it still. You know, in a lot of respects, I think we took the best of what we had last season and then sort of condensed it down and brought the defence with it and stuff like that. I mean, even if they score, I think this team will believe they can still do something. Yeah. I don't think they're a team that would give in any way, and not just in a we can't for pride's sake. I genuinely believe they can do it. I do worry about who we can pick. That's a concern. But yeah, I mean, to be fair to Barcelona, they defended far better than I thought they were able to in that game as well.
I thought we'd have more joy in set pieces as well, because I'd watched Barcelona a few times and he'd always looked a bit shaky from set pieces, and obviously with Big Virgin and obviously our aerial power. Yeah, I thought that we caused more problems, and I think you're right there. They probably did defend very well, but then I think that's another potential if we can get some good early balls in from the set piece. I think there's chances to score from there. You mentioned the Dortmund game as well, Paul. I think if on Tuesday, you know, ideally, like you said about being perfect, you don't want to concede. I think it's about when you concede. Similar to the Dortmund game, if you think back to that, we got up and then. They then went straight down to the red and scored, but because then it only meant you needed 2, you still like, well, come on, we're going to keep going, and that momentum sort of shifted. I think if we're 2 up on Tuesday, and now you're going around and scored, yeah, it'd be you know deflating to the crowd, but I still think because this team believed, they go, okay, well, we only need 3 goals here, and I just don't. I think the way they're playing at the moment, they're on this roll of momentum, like you said, Paul. Why not? Why not? We've seen stranger things in our time as Liverpool fans, especially at Anfield and the lights in the European night, so why not?
And the fans are going to roll in on the ale, aren't they, from the night before, buzzing, so the fans are going to be up for it, so yeah.
Do you think it helps that like the task almost is really clear? So like in the first leg of a game like this, when Liverpool go out there, they pretty much decide to have a go at them. They open them up, they're getting behind them, they're creating chances, they're making it difficult for Barcelona. But nevertheless, you wonder whether it's still in the back of their heads. It's first leg. This time, 3-0 down, second leg at Anfield, shit or bust is basically what I'm saying. And so it's just really clear. And it also feels as well to me that, I hate the phrase, but I'll use it anyway, it's a little bit of a free hit, because the rest of the world is looking at it and going, you're out, you're out. And so Liverpool can go out, give it their all, have a go, and if they win 1-0, if they win 2-0, people will go, fair enough, you had a go, you had a pop sound, and you reached the semi-finals, but you still got a chance at the title. So the sort of psychology of it, bizarrely, I think, is nice for Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, all you do is look at, like, obviously last season we had the City game, we've had the Dortmund game, and I was going into them games more worried about losing than I think I would have been if we were drawing the games when we went, because it was like, if we lose from here, it's horrendous. If we lose from here, you know, that idea, that drop off from there. Liverpool literally have got nothing to lose. No one expects them to do it. The fans will be behind them, but no one expects them to do it. Whereas Barcelona have got all the pressure. They have to do it. If they don't do it, it's literally the worst loss in their whole being of a club. So they've got to do it. That's a pressure in itself. It's the same as the City Liverpool pressure. City have got to win things. Liverpool have got that little bit of give in that.
And when you look back at the City game, you're saying when we were 3-0 up, that was beyond our wildest dreams to be 3-0 up, and we scored. We conceded early there, and I remember sitting there thinking, here we go. This is what we didn't want to happen. He scored after 4 minutes, didn't he? If that's us. And I think, you know, Barcelona they've got a softer underbelly. I think they can be better more than we could, even last season. And I just think if we can score early, I think you might have a few people looking around thinking, aye, what's going on here? And then with the crowd behind you. So we've got I think it's a cracking point. You take that position all day long, but then there's a pressure to being 3-0 up when you think, you know, this tie should be over. Yeah. And as you say, the whole world thinks it is. But nothing's over when the Reds are playing, is it?
No. Well, Neil's took a look at the potential tactics around this match. He recorded this the other day, so he's not had the benefits of knowing what happened in the Barcelona's match against Celta Vigo. So maybe he has a chat about Dembele. I'm not sure. Dembele is now ruled out, it seems, with an injury picked up in the Celta Vigo game. But anyway, here is Neil with the tactics board.
Do you reckon they're going to rest Messi I don't think so. I don't see it being massively different for Barcelona. To be quite honest with you, there's probably 2 selection headaches, I'd say. I could be wrong, but whether or not you think about going to the 4-4-2 he goes to and playing 2 right-backs, you might have a little think about that and going with just sort of Suarez and Messi up front as a 2 and then a midfield 4 across to see if that offers them a little bit more security. I'd be intrigued. I don't think he will start with that. I'd be surprised if he did so, Valverde. I think he'll have that in his back pocket. He'll have that as a go-to move rather than the idea that it's something he does from the outset. There's another one in there as well. Would he start Vidal again? Vidal are very, very aggressive in the Camp Nou and does a good job, but he may well feel as though with a partisan Liverpool crowd, it'll be tougher for the referee around that, and he may well decide he wants the better ball retention from Artur. There's then something else as well, whether or not Coutinho starts or he goes with Dembele, thinking that Liverpool will have to push up, and at some point there might be time and space to play on the counter. So what do we know? We know Busquets will start, we know Rakitic will start, we know that Piqué will start. I think we can say with a level of confidence that Sergio Roberto, Jordi Alba and Longley will all start in there as well. That's what we can say as fact, that's what we can expect. I think it will be a shape that is like this one. I think that if you are Barcelona, there will be part of you that is just saying this: score a goal. Just score a goal. Expect again to suffer, expect to have to suck up a lot of Liverpool pressure, expect to have to deal with the crowd, but just score a goal. Me, I think Dembele will start. Me, I think it will be 3 across the middle. I think it may well be Artur, and I think that at right back Roberto will start as well. I think that if you're a manager at times, we get to talk and act as though they can make quite profound and significant changes. In reality, I think you've often just got to go with what's got you there because these lads know each other. That's what I'm expecting to see. Let's find out how it plays out.
Okay, thanks to Neil there. I mean, we know some of the sort of the team news already around Liverpool then. So as Paul mentioned before, we know that Firmino's going to miss out on this one, which is a big shame. Mo as well, we don't know, touch and go, but it sounds positive. I mean, Klopp said straight after the game he thought he would be okay. In terms of the rest of the team, I mean, we've seen Dejan Lovren back in the back 4 against Newcastle. You would imagine he drops back out again, wouldn't you? Yeah. In general, what are you expecting from the lineup Liverpool go with?
I think Origi comes in. I think you're asking a lot for Sturridge to play 290 minutes in a row. I think Trent probably comes back in. It's interesting actually, because in hindsight, Trent obviously played pretty well against Newcastle. I didn't feel like that during the game, but obviously you look at the goals afterwards. But I assume Trent comes back in. In midfield, you might see Milner because we haven't saw much of Milner the last few weeks. But apart from that, I mean, he hasn't got as many options as he did have, has he now? So I think Origi is the one that, you know, hopefully he's flying, he comes back in, maybe Manny down the centre, Origi out wide. I'd be looking at something like that, I think.
Yeah. I think the midfield one is probably the biggest. I think, as you say, we know Bobby's out, so I think it will be Origi. I think in midfield where he's got his most difficult decision, and us three we can go with 3 different combinations. But I generally don't know what he's going to go with. I think Milner's probably a good shout for his experience and you know, and what he can bring, but does he play Fabinho as literally, you know, and everyone else goes forward and he sits? I think that's what he might do, but who knows? But I think there are a few options. Maybe I say we're not as many options as we did have. I think obviously Oxlade-Chamberlain coming on from the bench will be a little bit of a positive because he might have 20 minutes if we need him to come on and do a little bit of magic. And again, obviously Shaqiri came on and did okay last night as well. So you've got other options. It's a shame you haven't got Bobby, but fingers crossed we can. I think whoever you put out, the crowd's going to be up for it. They're going to go out there and they're going to have a go. And I hate that phrase as well, Robert. You said they're free it, but the lads have got that. They've almost got that. It'll be interesting. I mean, obviously, we you know, that's another day for another show. But I wonder whatever happened on Monday. I wonder how that would affect Tuesday. I was going
to bring that up. Yeah, I was going to talk about that because, you know, and we're all hoping and praying, obviously. We've all got Jamie Vardy posters on the wall and all the rest of it at the moment. If for whatever reason that, you know, they can get a result, they can get a draw or even better a win, and then it then puts the title in Liverpool's hands, does it in any way affect this game in terms of what you're doing, in terms of the team, or are we just talking about a load of professionals that want to win everything? It's
hard, isn't it? Because I think physically I'd be thinking about resting players, but psychologically, and I think that's Klopp's game, isn't it? I think dropping lads and giving up that semi-final of the Champions League, I wonder what the impact that would be psychologically on some of them players.
Feels like one as well. Where I mean, we just talked about this on the free podcast, and I sort of said, if you're asking me what I would do, I'm desperate for the title. I'm desperate for it, and if I know it's there at the end of the week, then I'm playing the kids or something. I don't care. But we're talking about professional footballers and a manager, and it feels like if in any way you put out any kind of weakened side and Liverpool go out, even if they won the league, bizarrely you would get people who would pick at him for that.
Yeah.
You only have to look at the way when Rodgers put out that team in Madrid. Yeah. It was held against them forevermore. You know, this isn't what Liverpool do. This isn't what Liverpool are about. You've disrespected the club and the badge and everything else, and so. He can't really do that, can he? I was a bit tongue-in-cheek when I said that on that other show. Yeah. It's likely that he just has to go as strong as he can. But is it something in heads, though, maybe? And even if, like, sort of, you know, the game reaches a certain point, does Klopp start thinking, I'm taking these points off? I think that was the way I was thinking. I think Klopp will... We're all ifs and buts here, aren't we? So, but let's say it went the way we wanted to, you know, with Leicester. I think there's an element of... Right, there's a role here, there's a momentum, you mentioned it before, Paul, and if you went out and you started a strong team and let's say you were 2 up and the crowd, blah, 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 and all of a sudden the game was there for the taking, I think he'd go with it and go, you know what, we can go and do a double here, we can go and beat whoever gets through on Wednesday, and we can do a double with obviously Wolves being in our own hands. Potentially though, it's that where if let's say Barcelona score, it's 0-0, they score, you know, and it's just before half time or something, and it's game over, and you've got the chance to win the league on a Sunday, maybe then he starts going, you know what, this is gone, you know, we can all accept that, we turn our attention to Sunday, but there's so many sort of, you know, you could go, well, what if they do this or whatever, but it'd be nice to be in that position, wouldn't it? Would be, yeah.
Let's hope so. He's got some excuses, hasn't he? Because you don't know how close Firmino is, for example. Yeah. Salah, you don't know how close he is, ifs and buts. He's got excuses if he wants them. I'm not convinced he'd take them though. Salah certainly wouldn't want him to take them. He'd want to play, won't he?
Any shout for Gomez again? You know, he started in the new camp, which was a little bit of a surprise. It was also a surprise to see where Gini was on the pitch as well. And like that, any sort of slightly wild-cardish stuff from Klopp that you can see happening?
I can't see. I mean, there's a shout for Gomez playing centre-half because you are going to have to attack them. You're going to be leaving space in behind you. There's a shout for that, but...
Matip's played well though, hasn't he? He's really good in the new camp as well.
I think the impact that has on Matip, you're probably going to need at Wolves as well. I can't see him doing that. I can see Chamberlain getting time on the pitch. It'd be interesting to see whether Brewster maybe he looks out on the bench because
he took him out there, didn't he? And he's been about. He's been about the squad, and you've heard some of the senior players talking about. He looks really sharp in training. He looks like a proper goal poacher. Yeah. We need goals. Well,
that'd be a great shout, wouldn't it?
What a story that'd be as well.
Exactly, and it's that little bit of an unknown as well. If you're looking at, you're the Barcelona coach or whatever, you're looking at, well, he does this, and then you got this lad on the bench who you haven't got a clue about almost. Yeah. He comes on. It's that kind of that's the type of thing what will happen for us, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? It's like it's 3-0, 82nd minute or something, and this lad comes on.
Champions League debut, and he comes on and bangs an hat-trick.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so it is those things. I think what you mentioned, Paul. I think he'll probably go with Trent purely for his going forward. Which again, if you're the Barcelona coach, you're probably thinking that's where we're aiming. But again, by having Matip there, because he plays on the right of the two centre halves, then hopefully that would keep that sort of quite solid. And I think also Matip, he's been playing really well, and he has been coming out with the ball, and he's doing well, and he's been creating attacks. So again, in terms of going forward, he's probably going to play in for that.
On the momentum thing that you've both sort of touched on, what kind of effect do you think, I'm just speculating, but it is what it is, what effect do you think it has that Barcelona basically let them all sit on the couch, for that game against Celta Vigo?
Well, Liverpool don't seem to benefit from them kinds of things, do they? So you'd like to think it'd be like Liverpool. I'm not sure whether the likes of Messi and Suarez are going to be that bothered with something like that, but hopefully it's that, I always think that if they're not playing, they're training. So what would you rather do as a player? You'd rather play than train. So hopefully it has that kind of effect. I'm not convinced though. I'd like that. I think that's more my dreams than anything else maybe.
What are you feeling about Coutinho and Suarez coming back as well?
Do you know what? I mean, again, lots was said and lots was written about Suarez celebrating. Of course he was going to celebrate. He said he was going to celebrate, and he was gnarly, and it was like, but
he was Suarez.
He wasn't, but that's why we loved him.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't know. I personally won't boo him because I think but I think he should be booed because it's one of them. He's going against us, our team and now, and he's from the past. And you know, although you know I say I love him and he was fantastic for us, he's not us now. He's got a different badge.
And we shouldn't be rolling out the red carpet. I mean, you know, one of the worst European experiences for me was when we played Madrid at home that time, and it felt like, you know, everyone was a little bit in awe of these players and taking pictures of Ronaldo, and it just all felt a bit soft. It was like, this isn't Scouse, this isn't Liverpool, this isn't us roaring on our team, booing them, appealing for everything, playing the part that the 12th man's meant to play.
We've got to do it.
We've got to do that for this, and you know, that was a low for me when we were like that with Madrid. So this time around, I'm booing Suarez.
I don't get the whole thing about players not celebrating anyway. There's players who literally
scored a goal.
You know, the likes of Bellamy wouldn't have celebrated any goals. He played for every team in the Premier League. So I don't get that. Certain players maybe that, you know, who've had an affinity for a club for a long time, grew up with a club, whatever else, maybe. But I want to see them celebrate.
Mo scored against Chelsea and he was a bit like, come on, Mo. But Chelsea had literally benched you. You were under Mourinho. The fans didn't like you. I'd have been the opposite.
Run to the away end and slide on your knees.
But I think it'll be one of them anyway. That when you're talking about the booing, I think hopefully it'll be a case as soon as they get the ball, the boos are for everyone anyway, and it's that high intensity, etc. Because I think that's what, like you said, Rob, we don't want to sit there and say, am I looking forward to seeing Lionel Messi? Yeah, but I hope he has an absolute stinker. I mean, people have said in the past, I'm sure I'm not the first, but I want someone to leave one on him. I don't want to break the lad's leg because he's a fantastic footballer, but just let him know he's in a game. Just stand on his toe early or something to try and have a little effect on, because if it gives us any type of advantage, then that's what we need. I'm not saying go through and break the lad's leg, but just let him know he's in a game.
Compete with him.
Yeah, it was, in fairness to Smalling, I think it was accidental in the end, but he goes through him and his hand comes back and hits him in the face. Messi was dead quiet after that at Old Trafford. I'm just thinking small victories, isn't it? And something like that. You need everything to be perfect.
And he does stuff like that. You see him throw like a little bit of a dig in the first leg, and he goes spinning round off the pitch and all that to emphasise that he's being fouled, whatever. So he's not averse to the dark arts himself. 100%. Anyway, listen, it's the semi-final of the European Cup. Barcelona are coming to town. Messi's coming to town. If you don't enjoy this type of thing, you're in the wrong game. What a time to be alive. We can win the league. We can win the Champions League. We've got a chance in both. Up the fucking Reds, what a night it's going to be. That's been the preview show. Get in.